this is Ritesh, and along with me, our company's CEO Pratik sir is there. And as we have promised in our previous video that we are going to talk and discuss about our subscription charges. And sir, as we have promised, we have to discuss today कि our subscription charges of our company is little bit higher than the other companies. As this is a perception only, I think this is a perception, not reality. Please explain.
I wouldn't say this is a perception, because in terms of monetary value, we are indeed higher education. Subscription or any kind of service charges depends upon the value that we add to our customers' lives or work. Okay. Now, there can be multiple reasons of the subscription cost being higher of any service, let alone GPS tracking charges. Now, let's say in Bihar or in market, depending on the market or the type of company you are dealing with, charges of GPS tracking starts from 100 rupees per month, where the cheaper ones go. Mediocre prices around, most of the companies are at about 150 per month. Whereas our charges starts from 200 per month. When I say starts from, that's the bare minimum price. And this is one price where we have never compromised. That is one thing that we don't want to compromise upon. Now, in reality, when we talk about corporates or industrial locations, commercial places, or bigger cities where the GPS tracking is being used by professionals. When I say professionals, I mean the company giving the GPS tracking services, as well as the people taking the GPS tracking services for their vehicles or any other thing. Both are corporates, not some local dealer or a small shop or a proprietorship company. Okay, there the charges start from 200 rupees per month. That's the bare minimum they cost.
You want to say that outside of Bihar or wherever there is a corporate world or there is a good service provider and good service acceptor also,
Yes.
they minimum pay or the minimum charge amount of 200 rupees. It is a starting point.
That's the
It
starting
means
point.
we are at the below.
Yes, we are one of the lowest charging companies there in those terms.
Yeah.
Now, GST is extra.
Yes, yes.
Now, the thing is, this happens because of a couple of things. We have explained in the previous videos also. So, I'll not talk about the quality of anything now. We already discussed the quality of hardware. We already discussed the quality of the software. Now, software is indeed a part of our subscription charges. Now, let's see what are these charges about. So, subscription charges includes the cost of the SIM card.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this SIM card cost, our company uses postpaid SIM cards only. These SIM cards have been issued to our company. Now, if a customer's due date is, let's say, 10th of December, and he does not make a payment on 10th of December, they might have some reason for it. Let's not get into that. They are not able to pay for some reason. What happens is, if it is a postpaid SIM card, the tracking does not get stopped. Because the bill has to be generated, we have to pay the amount, and the SIM card does not stop working till the point we want it to stop. We send a message, we send the confirmation to our telecom partner, to Airtel, Vodafone, or whatever SIM card we are using, that stop the services of this number. That's when the number gets disconnected. What happens is, if you are not using a postpaid number, so on the day the recharge is due, if it's not prepaid, the day the recharge is due, if you don't do it, the SIM card stops working. Let's say a customer calls me at night, let's say 2:30, and says that, sir, my due date was 3 days back. I could not make the payment. However, my vehicle, I'm not able to track. I'm not able to trace it right now, it's missing. I want the tracking services. Now, in case of this SIM card was prepaid, what I would need to do is, I'll have to initiate a message do the recharge on the number. Now, if the number has already been, let's say the device has been disconnected, let's say the device was disconnected 1 hour back, and the number was, subscription became due 3 days back. Last 3 days data would not be there on the server because the SIM card was not working. In our case, because it is a postpaid number, the 3 days backup data is already there. If the SIM card device has not been thrown out of the vehicle, it is still working. All I need to do is, I need to activate the person's vehicle. His login ID, not the vehicle, not the SIM card, not the tracking service, only his login. He will get the complete history of the past 3 days.
As I have understood, if customer is using prepaid SIMs, then it is also a risky.
Yeah, obviously.
And that is part of, sometimes it may be like his vehicle is stolen, his service is stopped, his service is stopped from 3 days, and suddenly he called you and says ki my service has been stopped, please help me. If it is postpaid SIM, then you can. See, in case of prepaid, you are
that's
not
the
able-
difference. What I'm trying to say is, in case of prepaid services,
Yeah.
even if I restore the services, even if I do a recharge on the number, last 3 days, till the point of recharge, the data of tracking would be missing. Nobody can do anything.
Yes.
Okay? Nobody can do anything in that case. And if before I activated the SIM card, before I did the recharge, if the device has been disconnected, the SIM card has been thrown away, nothing will
Yeah.
happen.
Of course.
You cannot even know where the vehicle was stolen from, what route it traveled, what happened, nothing. Whereas if it is a postpaid SIM card, you will get all the data. Even if the device is disconnected, till the time of disconnection, means the
Of
vehicle
course.
device has been taken out from the device and thrown,
Yeah.
even then till the point the device was switched off or thrown out, till that moment tracking data would be available. So he stole the car from your premises or location where you park. He traveled 50 kilometers at various locations, and then he disconnected the GPS device and threw it. At least you know what 50 kilometers did it travel to.
It will help a lot.
It will.
In case of stolen.
You can track them using the CCTV cameras on the road. You know which route was taken. Everything will be explained. SIM card is one part. Now, postpaid SIM cards and prepaid SIM cards, postpaid becomes a little costly.
Yeah,
Because we
that is-
cannot-
Everyone knows.
We cannot be flexible every month about the charges. This month 5 rupees will give you 1 MB data. Next month 5 rupees will give you 2 MB data. And sometimes there's an offer for 1 rupee you'll get 2 MB data.
Yeah.
We cannot do that. It's fixed charges. We have to pay. Now the risk is, even if the customer doesn't pay, I have to make the payment. It's my commitment to the telecom operator.
And sometimes every time you do.
Every
time you do.
yes, we have
every
to
time
do.
you
We have to do. We get a combined bill.
Yes.
My bill is, let's say, 50,000 per month, 1 lakh rupee per month, 1.5 lakh rupee per month. Even if half of the customers have not paid my amount during the lockdown, in COVID-19 lockdown, it happened. Many of our customers said that we cannot come to make the payment. We do not use digital methods of payments. We had to make the payment to the telecom operators, and we had to give services to our customers even when we did not receive it. Okay? So SIM card is just one point of the cost of the subscription. Second point of the cost is the software. We have already discussed in the previous session how does the software work, what are the components of it. So you have the server charges. If you use good servers, your services would be stable, your software would be stable. It would work when you want it to work. Data would not crash. A lot of things happen with good service. The uptime would be 99.9% or 99% or something like that. There will hardly be ever, and we have contingencies in place. We use multiple servers.
Yeah.
Our software uses multiple servers. So if
What
servers,
is the benefit of using multiple servers?
let's say we have one server in, let's say, Mumbai. The other server is in Delhi.
Yeah.
Both the server use the same function, they have the same function. They are a copy of each other. Now, let's say in Delhi, there's an earthquake, there's an electrical surge, or there's a complete network backbone breakdown, complete 100% internet blackout for some reason. If you have just one server, the application stops working. But if you have multiple servers, let's say you have two, one is in Mumbai, one is in Delhi. So if the Delhi one stops working, what happens is the Mumbai server takes all the load. So your application does not stop working.
Yeah.
So one server has 99% uptime, the other also has 99% uptime. But if one of them goes down, there's very less chance that both of them at various locations, if they belong to different service providers, will go down together. That does not happen. And what we do is we have multiple servers. As of today, the software we are using, it has almost 15 servers spread across the world.
It means that whatever happens in a particular place, the disturbance is not going to take place in our company. Right?
Mostly, I wouldn't say 100% guarantee.
Yes.
But the chances of our softwares not working for even a few hours might be 2 or 3 hours in a whole year. That's the stability we are giving to our users.
Yeah.
Okay.
And most of the scene we have, I've seen and I've listened also, most of the apps and servers are attacked by the hackers.
Yeah.
Do we have any chance in our?
Obviously,
What is the purpose?
software is software. Anything can be hacked.
Is there any difference between the persons who are providing less in subscription rate? Do we have any
obviously,
difference?
obviously. See, I'll tell you, hiring a team of software programmers who are expert enough is going to cost you.
Yeah.
A person designing a small application, let's say a small website or a small accounting software for a local shop, maybe depends upon the software size and the company's size. So a person whose expertise is like 2 years or 3 years of experience, a team of 4 or 5 members, and then a team of, let's say, 50 professionals, with people having 15 years, 18 years, 20 years of experience in software. Obviously, the things would be different.
Yeah.
That's how it works. So security is a major issue. We faced a security issue.
Yeah, that's why
We faced it. We faced it.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
few years back, we used to have a default password, 88888. That got, obviously, when you have more than 1,500 or 2,000 customers, and let's say out of that 2,000 customers, 300 are using 8888 as your password, it's bound to get leaked.
Yeah.
So our software is not hacked per se. What happened was some people came to know that the password is 8888, default password. So they tried on all the available accounts that password. Let's say 300 of them got compromised. They changed the passwords of that, they did some problems in that. However, we realized it within a couple of hours itself, and we made it mandatory for our users to change the password. Now you cannot keep a password like 12345 or 8888 as our password.
Yeah.
It's mandatory, and we also advise our customers every time we change or we reset somebody's password, we say change your password, make it difficult to understand, and do not share it with anybody. Now see, this is not related to the cost. Okay. Cost of programmers is part of the software that we develop. However, that is a cost. Developer salary is a cost. The third component of any software would be its storage. How much data storage is it providing for your vehicle? Some people will say we have a data storage for 7 days. Others will say we have for 30 days. We have for 90 days. And then there are some companies which also give 1 year data storage. So you can understand, if 7 days require 7 MB data, 30 days will require 30 MB, 90 days will cut 90 MB, 365 days will cut 365 MB. What I'm trying to say is, data and storage makes the cost go high.
Yeah, this is the actual.
The next component in the software, in the cost of subscription, would be use of maps. Depends upon what map you are using and which version of the map you are using. If you are bypassing Google's commercial laws, you are not paying for Google API, your cost will obviously be down. If you are using Google commercial maps and you are paying for it every month, there will be a cost to it. It's that simple.
So it means ki what I understood ki some of the companies may have some, they are compromising with these maps and all that.
Yeah, they are. They are bypassing Google's laws, Google's API implementation.
As we have discussed in our previous video, this is a type of piracy.
Yeah, you can say that.
It is a type of
Yes,
piracy.
it is. It is. Now, this is just one point.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, some companies are using advertisements in their applications to reduce their cost.
Yeah.
No doubt, it is a good thing. You are finding innovative ways to reduce the cost of your software. But in that process of reducing the cost, if you're not very careful about what kind of advertisements you're giving, which company you are giving the advertisement slot to, it might compromise the integrity or the privacy of the customer, the data of the customer. Okay?
It is a
Um,
big issue.
Yeah, it is. The companies, I'm sorry to say this, but many of the companies do not bother thinking about this. But anyways, that's just one of the points. One of the biggest point in any subscription charges would be its service. So I pay for the SIM card, I pay for the software, I pay for the storage. Okay, I do not compromise on the service or the quality or advertisement or piracy, or I follow all the rules and regulations. Apart from that, if I calculate all this cost, let's say my cost on average comes to 1500 rupees, for example. So this cost should be almost the same for everybody else. Somebody uses better technology, their cost would be 1200. Somebody uses an older technology, they might be 1500, instead of 1500, they will be paying 1800. The SIM card cost is almost the same for everybody.
Yeah.
That cost remains same for almost all the companies. Software charges remain the Google Map cost remains the same for almost everybody. The only cost that you can save on is your deal with the server company where you're deploying your servers, and the cost of your software technology. How much storage you can use to store how much data. That technology, the database side. All that is fine. The only cost that would differ majorly would be your service charges. Your minimum cost of everything else is 1500.
It is the minimum cost.
Yeah, I'm just giving an example. So what I'm saying is, for the whole year, the cost is 1500 for the software, the SIM card, and everything else. Now, a company decides to charge you 100 rupees or 200 rupees profit for that. But the thing is, so if they charge you 200 profit on that, it comes to 1700-1800 rupees per month. Now, for some reason, think of this: for the whole year, they're charging you 300 rupees. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for service, they have to send one person to your vehicle. Let's say 2 times in a whole year.
Yes.
As of today, if your vehicle is traveling, even if it is within the city service, if the person travels 5 kilometers to your vehicle, rectifies the issue and comes back, what should be the minimum charge? The cost of the company. They have to pay the TA.
Yeah.
He spends 1 hour, 1.5 hours on the vehicle,
Yes. Of course.
average. That's the minimum time he has to spend, and then he has to come back. Now, the cost of everything would be about 200 rupees per service, per incident. That's not big. You can talk to any mechanic. If they touch your car, they charge you to 300, 500. So, according to me, the cost of minimum service cost every time a technician visits your vehicle should be at minimum at least 200 rupees.
It is a genuine and minimum expense.
That's the minimum expense. Now, Just think of this. They are charging you a profit about 200 or 300 in a year. Do you think the company would be able to survive if they have to send even one person, one time for every vehicle that gets shut down or there's a service issue?
No,
If they have to send it, if they send, they won't be making any profit. No salary, no expense, no rent, they won't be able to do anything.
Yeah, you're right.
My understanding is, if you are a service provider, not just a trader or seller of any kind of product, if you're a service provider, your service charges alone should be enough to provide the service to the customer. What I'm trying to say is, if my devices stop selling today, I would be able to provide services to all my existing customers for years to come.
This is a long-term plan, I think. If most of the who are short vision people, they would not going to plan this, and they are not going to think like this much.
They want. Their only concern is selling their devices. Their whole operation runs on selling of devices.
So is it a reason? It may be a reason that most of the company, particularly we are from Bihar, and I'm talking about it. If most of the companies in Bihar are not going to a concept after 4 years, they are not going to stand.
4 years? In the last 5 years, I have seen hundreds of GPS tracking service providers crop up in Bihar with promises to the customers that we are going to do this and that, and they get shut down within the first year. 80% of the GPS tracking service providers, I'm not using the word GPS tracking company. There's a reason.
This is a difference, of course.
So, what I'm trying to say is, there's a shopkeeper, he gets cheap devices from XYZ person, he gets software from XYZ person, he says that I am the company. Now he starts selling for 200, 300 rupees profit. But when it comes to service, they are not able to provide it. They get shut down within a year. So while selling, they do say that I am a company. This is my own brand. All that. But when it comes for service, they go missing. This is my experience that most of the companies get shut down within the first year. Some of the companies who try to be genuine to their customers, but they do not understand the industry, they do not understand the cost of service, etc. Or those who do not understand that your warranty is not enough. So you buy the hardware from one company, that company says 1 year warranty.
Yeah.
But your service does not stop after 1 year. You have to provide services even after 1 year.
Till then, customer required.
Yes,
And
obviously,
want-
till the
and he
customer
wants.
wants. Yes,
And he
obviously.
wants.
So what happens is, even if they try to be genuine, in their lust or in their greed to earn more faster, what they do is, they charge higher sums on the device, they forget about the service part. Those companies go up to 1.5 years or maximum 2 years. I have hardly seen any normal person, a normal GPS service provider go beyond 2 years, forget about 4 years. We have been operating in this market of Bihar for the last 6.5 years. I have known the GPS industry for the last 10 years. The company is 10 years old.
Yeah, I know you previously from before this. Previously, you were working in Delhi. I think you were working in corporate sector.
Yes, we did work for many of the corporates. I did help implement a couple of companies, their GPS tracking services. That's another story. The thing is, this is what happens. But when we charge 200 rupees per month, I know that 1500, 1800 of that goes to our costs, the fixed cost.
Yeah.
Another 500 or 600 rupees that I charge is for the services. Now, as I said before, this is the minimum service charge which is required to give services to your customer. But again, as I am competing with local brands, I'm not competing with the national level companies yet. This is a strategy we are going to follow. But this is one cost that I'm not willing to compromise on ever. It is going to remain 200 plus taxes, the minimum charges. Because what I have seen the last 7 years, these are the charges which have helped me survive, which has helped me give services to my customers even during any kind of lockdown, any kind of market crisis, even when devices were not selling, even when I did not have enough team members, or when we had one or the other kind of crisis in state level, national level, or whatever. This charges have helped me reach out to my customers whenever they want. And plus, as I said before also, we pick up our calls 24/7. You have a problem, I request you to send us a WhatsApp message if it is not urgent. But if you have an urgency, feel free to call any of our team members. We will answer your call. And when we answer your call at night, obviously we will charge something for that discomfort.
This is the
We need to. Otherwise, we won't be motivated enough to answer your call. If you don't pay us, why would we pick up your call? Why would my team members pick up the call if they know that you are not paying their salary? This is the bare minimum that you should consider when you take a GPS tracking service. Not just my company, not just our company. This should be the criteria when you go for any other company. Any XYZ GPS tracking services provider, they should know it's not the customer's job, it's the job of the service provider to understand that you cannot give services unless you charge this bare minimum number. If you're charging less, you are giving the wrong message to the customer. You're telling the customer that GPS devices or GPS service providers should not be trusted for long term. Because this creates a perception in the mind of the customer, that GPS services are not to be taken for long. Don't be serious about it.
There is this in the market. They say why your pricing are so much high, as we have discussed in our whole day. This is a matter of faith, I think. It is a matter of faith.
As I said, we have customers who are more than 6 years old, who have been using our services for more than 6 years. They've been using the same device for the last 6 years, and they have never even once complained about the software or the service. My customers are willing to pay me almost double of what they are paying for the devices in the market, for the package. Devices are available for what? 3,400, 3,500? Even somewhere, I have heard 2,500, 2,700 is the charge for the whole year package, along with device. We charge 2,832, that's 2,400 plus taxes, just for service. Imagine this, you get a new device, 1 year free service, 1 year warranty from some XYZ company for a year at the price of 2,500, and we charge 2,832 for a whole year. The only difference is we have customers who have been paying the same amount for the last 6 years to us. They have customers who are not even 3 months old. And I tell you, they won't be there. They won't have customers ever which are going to be 3 years or 4, as you said, 4 years or more. They won't be able to survive even a year at that cost. Unless they are doing something, you can understand the rest, to compromise the privacy, to compromise the data, the contact details, your vehicle's insurance data, or some kind of compromise.
Because I also think if they are showing we are providing you the data, all data, you can keep the record in their app.
Vehicle records.
Of course, I think if they are selling the data, I think
They might.
be selling.
Obviously, if you're uploading your private documents,
Yes.
you want to save your documents, use DigiLocker. Come on.
It's a government.
It's the government application. That's much more faithful rather than using some other XYZ application to save documents. You want to save your documents, my recommendation is use DigiLocker. It's a government application, it's very helpful, and the best part is, if you show your documents using DigiLocker, it is acceptable, equivalent to the original documents that you might have in your pocket. When it comes to vehicle document, any kind of ID card or anything, if you use DigiLocker, it's much better. Because you don't have to carry your driving license, your vehicle's papers in your pocket.
One more thing I would like to ask you regarding service. in most of the companies, what my experience also says, if a customer is at far away, approx 50 kilometer, 25 kilometer, 100 kilometers from the headquarter, company headquarter, if a customer calls for the service, what most of the company do, if they take the time from them 24 hours to 48 hours and they send a service person from the headquarter to there. Until then, customer has to wait for the service. Do this actually happens in this company? Ki service is available at there only.
See, I wouldn't say that we are available at all the locations. Can't be. Vehicles are something which you have, let's say you are a transporter based out of Bihar. Your vehicle would go to Karnataka, your vehicle would go to Goa, it would go to Mumbai.
I'm talking about Bihar, most of the people.
See, what we have done is, we have built a network of mechanics. All the major district headquarters, we have one or the other mechanic who is willing to work with us. We pay them for the service. As I said, the minimum charge of the service is about 200.
200, yes.
So we pay them depending upon whatever the situation is. Sometimes it's 150, sometimes it's 100, sometimes it's even 250. So what we try to do is, we try to resolve the issue at the earliest. I wouldn't promise that it happens at all the locations. I wouldn't promise that we would do it the same day every time, but we try our level best. As I said, we are a service-based company. We do our best to provide the service as early as possible. There have been cases where things got delayed by a week. As you said, some people send it, we couldn't. Something happened. We sent the SIM card to the user to change it. We sent a new device to the user to use it. We sent a new wiring or a new relay or some other part of the device to the user. The courier got lost, it got misplaced. The vehicle was not available on time, the mechanic was sick. These things happen. It has happened. It will happen. But we try our best to do it as fast as possible. 2, we try to, whatever time we take, we try to increase that amount in the service duration of the customer. So let's say the service got delayed by 7 days. We extend the service duration, the subscription duration of the customer by, let's say, 7 days or 10 days, depending upon the time we took. Just to showcase that this was a genuine issue from our end. We are not only willing to take up the cost of the service, but we are also bearing the cost of the next 7 days of your subscription or extending the subscription, just to showcase that we are trying to be genuine. Incidents happen and we are willing to bear the cost. That's the bare minimum I can do to not resolve the tensions or the problems of my customer on time.
Thanks a lot, sir. And I think we have discussed most of the points which were important and which were actually the important queries regarding the sales. But I think there should be some discussion and queries which our service people may have been facing. And if it is necessary, I think it is necessary to discuss some points on that also.
Definitely, Ritesh. The reason for starting this series is to answer these regular queries in a consistent way so our customers know what we are doing. What I think we will be doing in the next session or in the future sessions, some of our future sessions will be, we'll bring in one of our service technicians or service team members and see what queries they might have, what queries they face from their customers, and what are some of the regular questions that come across which needs explanation to our customers. Let's do that in our next session.
Yeah, I will request you, we will have a service person here, and please you explain all the.
Definitely, I'll try my best.
Okay, thank you.